the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we're here at Daytona for the Daytona Nights 250. It is the final race in the Championship 8. Qualifying has gotten underway, and we have to restart it because reasons. Things are seeming to be goofy. Gotta appreciate technology when it fails or not. You don't have to appreciate it, and it is what it is. So here we go. Restart that. The 40 of Peter deBorja out on the speedway. So deBorja making his way around in the 40, one of our championship contenders. Nobody is locked in right now. So qualifying going to be very important to try and get that good start and be out in front and not have to deal with all the mess that comes with being in the middle of the pack. As the 40 sets his time into 11th place. Right now, 23 drivers have taken a qualifying time. And so with that being said, we are going to step away for the national anthem. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daytona Nights 250 right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. OP Racing Premier Series is presented by Butt Kicker. So let's get right into tonight's starting lineup for this Daytona Nights 250. On the inside of row number 1 with a quick time of 51.910. That is Sebastian Marin in the 23. To his outside, the 14 from Dale Cup Games. That is Vicente Guerrero. Row number 2, the 6 of Kody Neagles, and the 88 of Gabe Butler. Row 3, Richard Sanchez in the 510, and Tyler Miller in the 24. Row number 4, going to be Kevin Freis in a must-win situation here tonight, and Steve Karosik in the 027 to the outside. Jeff Crosby Jr. in the 33, and Eric Lurie in the 071 making up row number 5. Row 6 will be the 44 of Anthony English, and to his outside, that is the 59 of John Guerrero. Row 7, the 40 of Peter deBorja on the inside, and to the outside, the 47 of Richard Kuhn. Jim Mayer and David Overstreet for row number 8. Row number 9 going to be Andy Brigante and Kacey Gilchrist. Row 10, Adam Kilday in the 85 and the 1 of Josh Ball. Bubba Winningham and Sean Makara in row 11. Row 12, Alex Green and Jeff Crosby Sr. Row 13 going to be made up of Brian effing Wang in the 05, and to his outside, well, that is Matt Wagner in the 11. Zach Workman and Mark Mann for row 14. Row 15, Zach Fritsch and Jimmy Reynolds. I said 11 last and got really confused. And our final starting spot here tonight, that is the 00 of Rob Connors. Take a look at our race info before we go green. This is the final chance to advance into the Championship 8. Nobody is locked in. No cautions for stages. Our stages are at lap 25 and 50, and the drivers will have one fast repair here tonight. As Sebastian Marin takes the green flag, trouble very early on. Already one going around. Yellow flag is coming out just like that. And it looks like we spun the tires in the middle of the pack to bring out the yellow flag. And I'm not really sure. It was somewhere about here. Take a look and a stack up. Looked like maybe the 24 of Tyler Miller. This in a shift. Let's back that up a little bit more and see if we can't get a better view of it. Here they come to take the green flag. And Tyler Miller just doesn't get going, and it stacks the field up. Go off the nose of the 31 of Kacey Gilchrist. And so yellow flag coming out very quickly. And Vicente Guerrero in the 14. had his nose out in front to start this thing off. And so Vicente gonna get to lead the first lap. So a bit of a rough start to this one, as it looked like something happened to the 24 of Tyler Miller. It just wasn't rolling. And then the stack up happened behind him. So Vicente Guerrero in the 14, our race leader. A few drivers electing to come down pit road. Top 23 staying out. We did start 31 race trucks here tonight. "23 stayed out right there, and Peter deBorja in the number 40 was the first one off of pit road. Looks like a bunch of trucks gonna come in this time as well. Top off their fuel tanks, the 59 of John Guerrero, the 44 of Anthony English. They make their way onto pit road. But the 14 of Vicente Guerrero guys are getting waved around. What's the deal here? Oh, the pace car wasn't set. Oh boy. Well, this is gonna be a fun one to figure out. All right, so I'm trying to look and see who, what, where. I am very confused. There's the pace truck. 14 of Vicente Guerrero is our race leader, Sebastian Marin, right there as they get caught up to the pace truck now. And what I am confused about is how they are going to score John Guerrero, Jeff Crosby Sr., and Sean Makara, as the lights have gone out on the pace truck and they are turned back on as they try and handle this situation. Good call there, because I think you got to wave around John Guerrero, Crosby Sr., maybe Sean Makara. David Overstreet's been in his pit stall for quite a while. Maybe not him, but everyone else looks like maybe they got a little bit the short end of the stick, as the field was no longer cycling around at race pace. For case you're wondering, Jeff Crosby Sr. was on pit road for 1:33. If you know anything about iRacing here at Daytona, 2-minute lap times under yellow. So there's no reason that Senior should be a lap down. He's got his lap back. John Guerrero, 1:19 on pit road. He should get a lap back due to the timing issues as far as I can tell. Sean Makara gets around. Now keep in mind, I am not in any way, shape, or form in charge of this. And Guerrero does get his lap back. There we go. So David Overstreet should be, and now is, the only driver 1 lap down. Race control had shuffled the rest of these guys through. Good call, good heads up there. And keep in mind, they are doing this race control as they are out there racing. The admins are drivers as well. So they had to make these calls and figure it out. Now, the only thing I will say is if they give David Overstreet a lap back, that would be a mistake, but it looks like they are going to score him at the tail. Pace truck is off, and the green flag is in the air. Here we go. Single file start to the race. And this time we get a little bit further than we did to kick this one off. As they head off into turns 1 and 2 down on the bottom lane. A single file restart. Probably won't ever see one of those again. And now here comes the 6 of Kody Neagles with some help on the outside. Kevin Freis in the 25. Adam Kilday in the 85. That outside lane has a full head of steam, and Neagles drops down in front of the 14. Kevin Freis now has the momentum on the outside lane. Jeff Crosby Sr. with the fastest lap of the race right now at a 49.46. I expect to see that time drop quite a bit. The single file restart really has this field spread out. We got several packs of cars throughout this whole thing now, or trucks. I should be saying trucks. There are several trucks spread all throughout. And I know what you're thinking. Where is my buddy Dawson Wise? Well, I sent him for some popcorn right before the race started. He'll get here when he gets here, but he better have my popcorn. Zach Workman with the new fast lap at a 46.54. Kody Neagles, Kevin Freis. Right now, the 2 line leaders. Vicente Guerrero and Adam Kilday right there as well. Sebastian Marin, Anthony English, Josh Ball, and Gabe Butler. And almost every single one of those except for Josh Ball is a championship contender. Right now our top 10 is 7 championship contenders in it. And that is going to be huge because, as I mentioned, nobody is locked in right now. Everybody is trying to get as many points as they can because at most, only 1 championship driver is going to win this race. That also means 0 championship drivers could win this race, and everybody has to make as many points as they can to cover that scenario. So right now, the 6 of Kody Neagles, the 25 of Kevin Freis. Kody has some room to work with. Kevin in the 25 does not. Kevin must win. He is 50 points below the cut line. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the points as they came into tonight's race. Neagles 18 points to the good. Kevin Freis 50 points below the line. So you know Kevin is going to want to try and win this race. He wants to win every stage. He wants to win the race. Winning the race ultimately gets him in, but it is such a huge gamble that they have taken this week to put the 25 into a must-win situation. We talked about it last week, that Team Bootnaka needed to get as many points as they could for the drivers that were in the race last week, and then push Kevin Freis to victory lane. So far, everything's going to plan. John Guerrero goes a lap down. He joins David Overstreet as the two trucks 1 lap down. Jimmy Reynolds in the 26 has gone behind the wall. Not sure what has happened to the 26. He is stepped out of the race car for the moment. And here you can see the 26 in a group, pulls down. Big time issues for the 26. He came into pit road hot and bailed out of the race car as soon as he could. Sean Makara in the 71 gonna go a lap down here. So Makara blends in, and he is now the first truck 1 lap down. He will be battling with John Guerrero. David Overstreet is 2 laps down now. Kody Neagles in the 6, Vicente Guerrero in the 14. They're trying to make a move to the outside of the 25. As they made that move, Sebastian Marin in the 23 had a good run to the back bumper of the 25. And that 25 got a huge shot of speed. Josh Medlock says he's going for Adam Kilday this race. Kilday in the 85, having a good showing right now. '25 of Kevin Freis down on the bottom through the tri-oval. Hanging on to the race lead, the 23 is Sebastian Marin. To his outside. Now Sebastian Marin, I don't think has led a lap just yet this race. Now Sebastian Marin slides down in front of the 25. And Marin and Niagles run side by side. AO Cup games right now in control of this race. Go ahead and take a look at our stage wins so far this season. Sebastian Marin, 5 wins. Kody Neagles, 4. The third place on that list is Kevin Freis. How about that? They are running 1, 2, and 3 right now. So the fast guys always find a way to work towards the front. Kevin Neagles is cheering for Vicente Guerrero. The Italian stallion has a fan from Kevin Neagles. Kevin, of course, cheering for Kody. So that means who's ever in front out of the 6 and the 14, that's who Kevin is cheering for in that moment. They make their way down the back stretch. I do not believe everyone can make it on fuel. I believe everyone will have to make a pit stop. But when these guys choose to come down pit road, I don't know. That's a tough call. Sean Makara in the 71. Still the first truck one lap down. 25 of Kevin Freis and the 23 of Sebastian Marin continue to lead. Well, let me rephrase that. The 23 is out in front. He has moved up to the high side. Now he drops down to the bottom. Kevin Freis in the 25 stays committed to the yellow line. He has yet to make a move off of that yellow line. He gives a good shove to the 23. He's cleared the 6 of Kody Neagles. The 6 and the 14 have broken apart here, and that outside lane is really falling behind. The 25 of Kevin Freis is shoving that 23 way out in front. That is a huge bonus for the 25, because once that outside lane gets moving, well, Kevin can jump up there and steal their energy as they get to his back bumper and shoot out to the race lead. So how do you handle this? Is that outside lane is truly falling apart, and most of that is because they are expecting green flag pit stops within the next few laps. But man, I bet they did not expect to fall this far back that quickly. Trouble for Kody Neagles in the 6. He goes all the way up against the wall and continues to lose speed. Drops down to the inside lane and blends in. Now it looks like almost everyone has blended in except for Jeff Crosby Jr. He has gotten shuffled out. And here they come onto pit road. 23 is Sebastian Marin, very hot on the pit road. I think he got it slowed down just enough. We'll find out here in just a little bit. Drivers who stayed out: Zach Fritsch, Zach Workman, Jim Mayer, Jeff Crosby Jr. They all stayed out. And Sebastian Marin is down and away, so no speeding penalty for the 23. Great entry on the pit road. He was very aggressive there and nailed that pit stop. Here come the rest of the 4 who have not pitted. Zach Fritsch, Jim Mayer, Zach Workman, Jeff Crosby Jr. all making pit stops that time. Sebastian Marin, Josh Ball, Kevin Freis, and the 44 of Anthony English right there. This is a battle for the race lead as they will cycle around. And with that, the 23 of Sebastian Marin is now our race leader. Josh Ball and the one right behind him. David Overstreet in the 68 back on the pit road. And going behind the wall, that is the 59 of John Guerrero. Guerrero has stepped out of the race car. Not sure if this is a permanent thing, but for now, he is no longer in this race. So that is two trucks that have dropped out of the race, John Guerrero and Jimmy Reynolds. New fast lap of the race, turned by the 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr. A lot of speed in that truck, but he is mired right now deep in this field, and they have got to catch up to these four. Got a lap and a half to the end of the stage, and Sebastian Marin in the 23. Right now out in front and in control of this race. That pack of trucks running side by side, that second group closing in little by little, but it may not be enough. Anthony English going to try and get a big run here as he really starts to close in. Jim Mayer in the 95. What are they going to do here? The 44 makes a move. Brian Wing tried to throw a block, couldn't quite get the block done. And now does the 44 have enough energy to get all the way to the front, or will Sebastian Marin throw a block here? Marin goes for the block. English says no. Josh Ball says thank you very much. Here they come onto the front stretch. Kevin Freis going to try and push on the one of Josh Ball. Anthony English at the line. I couldn't tell you who that was. Oh my goodness, that one was close. It almost looked like Anthony English. And they are running very tight here as we stay green. No cautions for and into the stage. But man, I really hate to see us not interview Anthony English 2 weeks in a row because he won the first stage and we stay green the rest of the way through. I have no idea who officially won that stage. From that vantage point we saw, oh, and the 44 is out of shape. And this is going to bring out the yellow. And hopefully someone will let me know who the stage winner was, as the 44 gets crossed up going into turn one. Well, take a look at it here. Looked like English is trying to make that truck as wide as he could. Caution flag is out for the second time in the race. 95, a Jim Mayer is our race leader right now. Do expect everyone on the pit road. It looks like they are all coming down pit lane. Sean Makara in the 71 going to get the free pass. And Sebastian Marin in the 23 wins the race off a pit road. 4 tire stops from 5th place on back. .510 of Richard Sanchez. So, all right. No matter what, we got to talk to him this time. Whether he won the stage or not, he won the stage last week. So we at least owe him for that one. Mr. Anthony English, you got your ears on, bud?
Hey, what's going on, KR?
All right, can you confirm stage 1 win from last week?
Yes.
Can you confirm a stage 1 win this week?
Yes.
Well, we're going to get to talk to you this time.
Oh, man. Oh, well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, sweet.
All right, man. Well, that's 2 stage 1 wins for you. Good grief. So we didn't get to talk to you last week as the race stayed green. We don't want to interrupt that, but here this time had a caution shortly after the stage, man. That 44 wins the stage, but then goes for a little bit of spin. So what's going on out there?
Oh, I don't know. Hard races for the stage there. Had a good pit stop. Was able to catch back up to those guys, and me and Jim had a hell of a run. So went for it and was able to stay up there those last 2 laps. So was able to get a stage, which is desperately needed points-wise. And then I think Jim just got me a little bit of a bad bump coming out of the corner there, and it kind of just shot me right up in the sea bass. And from there, I just lost talent. I couldn't save it. I'm glad more people didn't get involved in it and stuff, but yeah, just I don't know. I don't really know what happened with it. I just felt him bump me, and it just like pushed me real wide, higher than normal. Got to sea bass, and I just lost it.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, that 44 has had a solid championship run, but you do, like you said, gotta get some points here tonight. Only one championship driver is going to be able to win this race, if that driver can win it at all. So points are going to be huge. So you kicking off by winning the stage, that's big.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it'll definitely help me. I gotta stay solid, maybe try to pick up some more stage points with the next one, and then just hope to survive and get a good finish. I mean, if I can pull off a miracle to stay in to make the round of 8, it'd be awesome. But I know it's still a long shot, even sitting where I am with that stage win. So just got to stay persistent here and try to stay out of trouble.
All right, before we let you go, shout outs, thank yous.
Yeah, you guys up in the booth, you guys do awesome every week. All my teammates at Vendetta, family and friends who are watching, all that jazz, and yeah, let's go get it.
All right, there you have it. Our stage 1 winner from this week and last week. We're just going to say that's a 2-for-1 right there. And joining me with my popcorn finally is none other than Dawson Wise. Dawson, what flavor popcorn did you get me, and what security guard held you up?
I'll tell you what, KR, number one, it's about the longest popcorn line I've ever had to stand in, so I can thank you for that one. I got a couple different tastes. I went with some classic, just the classic salted, buttery movie theater type popcorn, and I got some kettle corn for myself personally.
What happens if I stick my hand in your popcorn bag?
I mean, there's not much I can do, I guess.
Good point. That is, just because you think it's your popcorn, it's really mine. I'm just allowing you to share it.
Wow.
All right, bud. Well, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Not bad. I've been trying to keep up a little bit. I will tell you. I went got in the popcorn line. Then I had to go find my calculator. You know how this goes. You know how this went the last round. Had to go get my calculator again, and I'll tell you what, it is already on fire after that stage. Let me tell you.
Dude, I'll tell you what, those guys were nuts. But here we go. We kicked off stage number 2, and now Jeff Crosby Jr., Richard Sanchez, they're running 1 and 2. Sebastian Marin, outside line leader, and Jeff Crosby Jr. says, I want to be in the outside lane.
Yeah, it gets a little bit wild here up closer to the front, and it gets wild as well in the points, where all of a sudden with Anthony English's stage win and several playoff guys not getting stage points again, my calculations could be way off. They were done really, really fast tonight, but if I've done them right, I mean, he picked up 10 points on most of the playoff field right there. The furthest guy above the cut line now, at least by my calculations, is Peter deBorja, and he is only 21 points above the line. It's single digits around the cut line here, KR. I don't know if mine are 100% right, but it's pretty close. And yeah, this is going to be really interesting here in stage 2.
For sure it is. Sanchez, Crosby Jr., Josh Ball, these guys are not championship contenders, but they are in the mix, throwing Alex Green and Tyler Miller. Right now, Sebastian Marin, Peter deBorja, they are our 2 championship front runners, and they're the only 2 in the top 10 that are championship contenders.
Well, that's what made stage 1's end so interesting, especially with Anthony English charging to the front and getting the stage win. That does so much for him. He was 14 points out. All of a sudden, now he's only 4 points off the cut line, and he is very much in this race. And now some of those guys that had double-digit leads, I'm talking Sean Makara, Adam Kilday, guys like that, they're going to sweat a little bit in the next little bit. They got to go get some stage points and equal that out and try to get their buffer back. And that's several guys. It's not even just Kilday and Makara. It's just who's closest to the line. Even, I don't want to speak too early, but Kody Neagles, our regular season champion, his buffer is down to 10 points here in stage 2 with no stage points there. So some of those guys need to make something happen here, or else they're going to be really sweating bullets once we get to stage 3.
One of the drivers jumping up into the outside lane is trouble.
Yeah, jumping to the outside wall is where Josh Ball and Sebastian Marin are going. We're piling them up again.
We were on board with Andy Brigante as that happened. That Lamborghini Silverghini made it through as we rode on board. Holy cow.
I mean, pretty much right as we got to talking about something else. That figures, right? And of course these guys would do that to us. Well, what do you know, right?
All right, so let's back this up. And holy cow. Andy Brigante did a heck of a job getting through this as a big stack up going into turn 1. Everyone gets sorted quickly. Brian Wang very slow to get rolling. Let's take a look here. Alex Green a bit out of shape. So back her up just a touch more. One car hard into the outside wall. The 15 was able to get onto the binders and slow it down. Kevin Freis at the back of this. He was heads up driving to get it slowed down. A lot of championship contenders maybe in this one. Or could have been in this one, but were able to avoid any type of situation. But one driver who did not, that is Tyler Miller, Josh Ball, Sebastian Marin. They get into this very hard. And Ball stuck in reverse.
Yeah, not what guys like Sebastian Marin wanted to see right there for sure. Granted, he keeps his spot, but still did not want to get involved in a wreck and any kind of damage on that truck, because now it's going to hamper him a little bit. It's pretty obvious he's got some left rear damage, at least on my end. I know he's got some right side damage as well from getting to the outside wall, but it's not what you wanted to see if you're him. I don't think it's time to burn a fast repair quite yet, but it's going to hinder you. You're going to lose track position trying to fix that damage and stay up to speed. So for the playoff guys that are involved in that, it's only going to get harder the more wrecks you get involved in. That's just a natural part of racing, but especially tonight for the guys in point situations, man, that makes an uphill battle feel like a mountain at that point.
All right, so this is our third caution of the night. We're working stage number 2. Jeff Crosby Jr. winning the race off of pit road. Jr. with a very quick pit stop. Able to beat everyone off. You know, and I'm not too sure I'm a big fan of that paint scheme. I think that red and green has more of a Christmas vibe to it than this Halloween vibe, which we should be trying to go for right now, but that's just me.
I mean, yeah, probably, but he's run it before. I think we can cut him a little bit of slack and the benefit of the doubt here.
Sure, man. I know he's got a black and orange one that looks amazing. I just was hoping to see that black and orange one out here tonight.
In that case, I don't know if we can cut him any slack at that point then.
Yeah, I'm not. I have decided he gets 0 slack.
Wow. I mean, hey, fair enough. Look, I'm not gonna stop you. I don't know. I'm cutting him slack. So Jeff, if you're watching, I'm cutting you slack just for the record. Let's keep things straight.
All right, the 33 though, going to elect the inside line for this restart. The 510 of Richard Sanchez. Going to move up to his outside. Then row number 2, going to be the 40 of Peter deBorja and the 47 of Richard Kuhn. Row 3. Oh, as the 40 looked like he missed a shift there. Almost had a big stack up. Row 3 going to be Zach Workman and Vicente Guerrero. And this time we do have quite a few championship contenders trying to work their way forward and into the top 10. Not too many laps to go. We only had 2 championship contenders in the top 10. Now we have 7.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you. I think the word's gotten around now that Anthony English won stage 1, and all of a sudden now, you're starting to spread that word a little bit. Hey, we need to go get some stage points here and kind of make this a little bit less of a nerve-wracking stage 3. One guy, his night's gotten a lot more nerve-wracking on one hand, but a lot less on the other. Is Vicente Guerrero missing out on stage points, puts him 27 points below the cut line. Without many stage points here in stage 2, it almost becomes a must-win scenario for the 14 as well. And then obviously you've talked about, I'm sure, Kevin Freis. His only method of getting into the playoffs from here is winning the race, which we'll see if that pans out for him. I don't know. He was running well earlier. We'll see if he can get his way back up to the front.
Yeah, he is digging out of a hole right now and finds himself mid-pack. But Kevin and Gabe Butler, 2 drivers who I expect to see very aggressive here tonight, are finding themselves mid-pack for this restart. We'll keep an eye on them. We'll see how long it takes them to get back to the front. Here we go. Chevy Silverado out of the way. Green flag is in the air. And away we go once again.
Better start is on the bottom for sure. The top line cannot get connected. The bottom will roll here in the middle of 1 and 2. You'll see it. The second it starts to move, well, they have the energy now. Kody Neagles bails out, goes up behind his teammate. Vicente Guerrero leaves the bottom to Crosby, deBorja, and Workman as they wait for some help. Let's see if Crosby goes up in front of Sanchez here. Nope, going to stay home in front of deBorja, and that's going to allow Richard Sanchez, Richard Kuhn, Vicente Guerrero, and the rest of the top line to blow on by. Here comes the 5-10. He's going to lead into 3.
Sanchez has the advantage going into the corner, but watch out, the 33 down on the bottom. Jeff Crosby Jr. surging back ahead. The 40 wants to clear that second row of the 5-10. Well, Jeff Crosby Jr. makes that easy, and Jr.'s going to get turned hard into the outside wall. Fourth caution of the night comes out. Mark Mann goes for a spin. And Jeff Crosby Jr. pointed the wrong direction on the front stretch from the race lead all the way back into the last car on the lead lap, and that engine is hurt.
Man, that was an offset push if I've ever seen one. Not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if maybe he thought about going back down in front of deBorja and just got hung up in the middle and just kind of hesitated or what happened there, but big damage to the 33. I'll tell you one thing I noticed in that. I have no idea how Adam Kilday got away with not getting hit by more trucks. I saw him go sideways and thought he was a goner. I thought he was going to get hit by one or more championship drivers, one or more drivers in general. But somehow he gets away with it. That just something interesting to note besides obviously what happened up front there with Crosby Jr.
Bubba Winningham smacking the inside wall. A lot of trucks scrambling all over the track trying to find some room, and you said Adam Kilday with a big move. Let's see what happens to Kilday here. And yeah, he gets turned. He's the one that smacks Bubba Winningham into the inside wall, and boy, I'll tell you what, Kilday ought to be glad that you can go through that pace truck.
Yeah, he was about to hit the pace truck pretty much head on if you can't go through it. That would have been really unlucky timing, unlucky placement, and about the most misfortune I think we've seen this entire season, if that was the case.
Zach Fritsch, Gabe Butler, all glad that they could go through the pace truck. Holy cow. All right, so yellow flag is out. Several trucks on the pit road. Stage 2 on the line, and Peter deBorja, Zach Workman, they are electing to stay out for track position. Last on pit road on lap 36, so they should be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel. But then it becomes, if it stays green, how do you handle the race from here? So wow. All right, here we go. Now keep in mind, Dawson, none of our championship contenders are locked in. Every single one of them has to have as many points as they can, because at most only one can win this race, right? Only one driver can advance by a win. That's if a championship contender wins. So they have to win these stages. They have to make sure that they're running well all race long. And it seems like not all of them are in the best spots.
Well, we're in a position now with no one locked in before tonight that any playoff winner is going to bump someone out of the playoffs. It just moves the cut line one person, regardless of where that cut line may be. It's not going to matter if a playoff driver wins that is outside the top 8 currently. So right now on my math, I have it as English 4 below the cut line, Butler 6 below the cut line, Guerrero is 27, and obviously Kevin Freis, I have him scored 42 points below the cut line. The number doesn't matter. He has to win. But he did pick up stage points, so the gap's a little bit more likable, I guess, if you want to say that.
Trending in the right direction.
But what I'm getting at is if one of those guys were to win this race, and obviously we have a whole other stage here, so this could even change, but if one of those guys wins, they're going to bump somebody that's above the cut line right now out of the playoffs, regardless of how they do in this stage. So that you got to think about the stage, yes, but you also have to think about, well, your best bet, if you're the guy on the cut line right now would be Sean Makara. Your best bet is just to go win the race. Make sure that does not happen. You don't want that to be your fate, is someone winning and putting you out when you thought you were going to make it in on points.
All right, so championship contenders on the front row, the 40 of Peter deBorja, the 19 of Zach Workman. Row 2, the 47 of Richard Kuhn, and the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Row number 3, the 6 of Kody Neagles, and the 44 of Anthony English. So, championship contenders, knowing that this is the final sprint to the end of the stage, are really starting to stack into the top 10. Drivers outside the top 10 right now: Zach Fritsch, Adam Kilday, Kevin Freis. Those guys have some work to do to get back into this race, and not a lapse left here in stage 2.
I mean, absolutely. And coming down to it, we're 3 laps short of that 5-lap window where a caution would end the stage, and obviously we're about 8 laps short of ending the stage just under green. But this could change a lot. If a guy like, let's see, who am I looking at here? Like Vicente Guerrero, for example, if he were to win this stage, his 27-point deficit all of a sudden becomes closer to about 17, which is much more manageable in stage 3 to try to even make it on points than it is a 27-point deficit. So a lot to be figured out, and a lot of green spoilers up here near the front.
All right, the pace truck pulls down on the pit road. Peter deBorja, Zach Workman, they get the green flag. We are back underway to try and wrap up stage number 2. deBorja gets a good run, but the 19 gets a better run into turn number 1.
19's got all the help he could ask for here on the outside. Now, the problem is it's not going to be guaranteed help for very long, I wouldn't think. Vicente Guerrero is going to be the guy to watch here on this restart. You know, he needs to be aggressive. He needs to make a move when a move becomes available. He's the first guy you're going to look at. And as Workman drops down, he actually offers that top here to Vicente Guerrero. Let's see how much of a run he gets. He's got great support behind him. Anthony English, Gabe Butler, 2 of the best out there at pushing trucks to the front. Let's see how much they can get. Before that, though, deBorja may get clear here off of 4. It's going to be awfully close. He does.
Ooh, man, did he thread the needle to make that move up there. And the 40 Peter deBorja is not messing around.
It proves how much he needs points. He missed out on stage points in stage number 1. I think that's his first lap led of the night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would also be a bonus point, I believe, if that's the case. I'm not 100% sure if that's his first lap or laps led even under the caution, but if so, that's an extra point for Peter deBorja.
I believe he's led a lap or 2 while you were gone, but don't hold me to it.
I factored it in now nonetheless, so it's in there now, and that's all that really matters. Yeah.
Big wiggle out of the 47 in the 19. Almost collecting the 40 in that, and everyone able to hold on to it.
Yeah, I don't know how they're not wrecking here. We're going to be inside the 5-lap window here in about a lap's time, so it could come down to the moment of caution as to who gets stage points. Sebastian Marin, by the way, about 6 rows deep. He's trying to make some ground forward. They just don't have the help to do so. It's Marin and Sanchez right now, and they don't have a third truck, so still kind of stuck outside line. Man, they are all over the racetrack right now. They are waving back and forth. Oh, my goodness. Vicente Guerrero, how did he keep that truck going straight?
Anthony English had a big moment as well. He collected Andy Brigante there as they made door-to-door contact. But we stay green, and now
they're going to wreck in the trial behind them. And that should do it for the stage, I think.
And now they do tear up some trucks. The 23 is Sebastian Marin involved. I don't think the 25 of Kevin Freis got involved, but that truck doesn't look like it's driving as straight as it should. So yellow flag coming back out. And let's take a look here. Workman squeezes through. Vicente Guerrero goes around. Sanchez involved. Sean Makara. Go on board with Brian Wang, and you can see as they come up off the corner, everything breaks loose. Brian Wang was able to squeeze through. So now they stack up, waiting for the pace truck. All right, ooh. Anthony English coming down pit road. So he is... Not everyone came down pit road, so that could be an indication that there might be a lap shootout. There might be a one-lap shootout here. I think
I could have sworn they said anything inside 5 laps to go ended the stage.
Yeah, but I think that
sure.
yellow flag came out before they got to the start-finish line.
They had just crossed lap 46.
Did it?
The problem is
Okay.
I don't have any official word. I don't.
No, I don't either.
I don't know. I was starting to do math. I don't know if I'm supposed to do math over here or not.
The fact that not everyone came down pit road is what's throwing me for a curveball.
I'm gonna do something unorthodox. I'm gonna go try to find official word, and I'll return in a moment.
Yeah, bring back popcorn.
Perfect. I will. Plenty of it.
All right. So while he's doing that, let's see here. I think they're gonna have a one-lap shootout because the lights are gonna go out this time around on the Silverado. 28. Yeah, it's gonna be like a 2-lap shootout.
I'll tell you what, I've come back with popcorn. The line was a lot shorter this time. No one wants to miss the ending of this stage because that was not the stage break. We're going to go back green on lap 49 and race 2 laps to the end of stage number 2.
All right, there you have it.
So don't count anything official quite yet, which explains why Anthony English came to pit road right there.
Yeah, English came to pit road, but Zach Workman did not. So that was a big cue for me saying, hey, that's not the end of the stage, because if it was the end of the stage, nothing to be had at that point. Everyone comes down pit road.
I always like to make sure, just
Sure,
to have
absolutely.
the official words, so I'm not up here doing math and I look like a fool later because all the math is wrong.
Hey, what do we say? We do quick math. We don't do
Quick
good math.
Not good math, right. Well, my math was quick in stage 1. I hope it doesn't have to be that quick in stage 2. That's all I can say.
I hope it does.
Oh, wonderful. Great.
Yeah, I hope it has to be quick because that means we stay green.
Oh, good call. Yeah. I guess if we stay green, it's a little bit easier, I guess. But, you know, if we can just stay green and these guys can calm down for a little bit, not have to make pit stops and confuse me, and then, you know, got me going back and looking at the last moment of the stage, and I don't. That's what I had to do for stage 1. It's quite a process.
While you were gone getting me popcorn at the start of the race, we had our first ever single file restart this season.
I don't even know how to react to that information. What? I'm trying to figure out how the race would have started with a single file start.
Well, it
Interesting.
started double file, but only like two rows got across the start finish line before the yellow flag came out. So they had to set the field, and everyone ended up single file for the next green flag.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I had to do quick math to see who should get the lap back, and I was correct. Everyone I said did. It was wild. I don't think I could do that again. So here we go, Dawson, take it away.
Last 2 laps of stage 2. Remember, we will stay green if these guys decide to not crash in the next 5 miles of racetrack. We'll see if they do make it all the way, and then obviously I'll be trying my hardest to crank out all the math at the end of the stage, try to get an updated points picture. But for now, Zach Workman, huge run, big help from Kacey Gilchrist. These are both guys that need points. Really, all 3 guys need points. deBorja in a little bit better spot. For now, playoff guys all lined up. Here comes Fritsch, here comes Butler. Playoff guys making their way to the wall, headed for 3.
31 of Kacey Gilchrist down on the bottom. The 19 is Zach Workman. Contact, elbows up. Hold on to it, boys. Great bit of driving. We stay green, and everyone has to try and settle in as Richard Kuhn in the 47 and Tyler Miller in the 24 lead that lap, but we're still not done shaking and baking through the corners here.
Oh man, how could we possibly have any kind of order here at the end of stage number 2? There goes deBorja. He's got his teammates with him in Butler and Freis. They've got a nice run. Now Fritsch takes the run. Does Gilchrist block? Almost contact between the 6 and the 12. Now the 12 gets a run to the outside. We're 3 wide for the lead down the backstretch.
Richard Kuhn, Tyler Miller, they were out of shape through the tri-oval, but they get hooked back up, and now they are out in front. Kuhn, who got eliminated from his first ever Monday night playoffs, trying to win a stage, but here comes Tyler Miller. We haven't seen the 24 since August of this season, and here he is out in front, and Tyler Miller is going to be your stage 2 winner.
And again, I'll try to do some math for you, so you may have to take it off my hands here momentarily. I'm trying to get the results.
Absolutely.
Stage win for Tyler Miller, and I'm going to start to calculate a little bit.
All right, so here we go. We stay green. Tyler Miller, Zach Workman, Richard Kuhn right now. Your top 3, and they are on the bottom line. Kacey Gilchrist in the 31 now finds himself behind the 47 of Kuhn as Kuhn made a move to the top side. We get back to 2 wide racing as everyone tries to settle in and start logging some laps, because now we are halfway done with this race, but we have quite a bit to go. So the 24, Tyler Miller, now your race leader. Zach Workman pushing on the back bumper of the 24. Richard Kuhn in the 47, leading that second line. And boy, I'll tell you, it is a very different race right now than it was 3 laps ago. They were all over the racetrack. Everyone throwing a block, everyone getting a hard shove. And right now it's all, hey, you know what? Let's be a little bit gentler. Let's catch our breath and let's get back after it and see if we can't get to the end of this race without someone dying. One of our championship contenders who is in a big time trouble, and it's Sebastian Marin in the 23. He now finds himself 1 lap down. He's the first truck 1 lap down. Currently scored in 28th place as we go on board with Sebastian Marin. We have seen him involved in a couple incidents here tonight. So with that being said, that 23, I believe, is either trying to hold on to that fast repair, and that's why he went a lap down, or he is out of fast repairs, and that is why he went a lap down, because he has had quite the night. Kind of having the night like Anthony English had last week, where he started out strong and then things went south for him very, very quickly. Back to the front we go. Tyler Miller, contact, everyone scattering down the back stretch. More trouble. 2, 3 trucks around. Caution flag coming out. Gabe Butler out in front when the yellow flag flew. Tyler Miller in the 24, Kevin Freis and Zach Workman with Zach Fritsch rounding out your top 5 as far as I can tell. And that one had Richard Sanchez, I believe, getting involved. Let's back that up. John Makara involved. Take a look here. Sanchez goes for a spin. Eric Gloria in the 071 gives him a hard shot and straightens him out. Zach Workman, Josh Ball down below the yellow line. Go off the nose of Jeff Crosby Sr. here. And wow. Big moment down the backstretch, and that is going to let everyone catch their breath here.
All right. So I've done more quick math. I hate to do this if it ends up wrong, but I do feel like my math is solid. I feel like I've done it right. And if my math is correct, the cut line is as close as you could possibly ask for in terms of the last several drivers, even up to our points leader now, deBorja still plus 19. But then you have Workman 16 above, Fritsch 12 above, Niagles 12 above, Gilchrist 12 above the cut, Marin is 10 above, and then it gets really interesting. Adam Kilday 2 points above the cut line currently. The driver on the cut line is still Sean Makara. He is 1 above the line. And Gabe Butler now is pulled within 1 point with English 4 points back at the cut line. So all of a sudden 4 drivers in about a 6-point range from the cut line here with still 40 laps to go.
Oofda. Send me a picture of that.
I will do what I can.
Yeah, send me something. Because I'll try and update our points sheet. And that way we can give everyone a visual of what's going on. So Mark Mann in the 04, winning the race off of pit road. Who was our stage 2 winner?
I believe I can tell you. Hold on just a second. I will give you that information because I have that as well. Tyler Miller won stage 2.
There we go. All right, let's get a word in with him while you hook me up with that information. Tyler Miller from Fuel Sim Racing. Let's get a word in with him. Tyler, got your ears on, bud?
Yeah,
Hey, someone told me you won stage 2.
I did.
Man, you ain't raced with us since August, and you come out here and you make it look this easy. What's going on out there?
Well, this race is a little bumping and begging if you ain't noticed. So, you know, usually if you don't have to, you know, worry about hitting people, you're good. So like everybody's bumping into me, it works in my favor.
I'll tell you what, though, that last lap coming to the stage, that 24 and the 47, you guys were sideways in the tri-oval, and then you found a way to straighten out and really charge down the backstretch.
Yeah, I was pushing, and then somebody hit me in the back, and then it caused his back tires to get onto the apron there, and Kuhn got sideways, and I was a little sideways from getting bumped, and luckily the car behind us saw it coming, so they checked up enough to give us room to save it, and then we just moved on.
All right, man. Well, nice job on winning stage number 2. Any shout outs, thank yous you'd like to give?
Hell yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Busch Light. You know what I'm saying? Because without them, there would be no us. And then second off, I'd like to give a big shout out to FSR and the crew. We got Jeff Crosby, Zach Fritsch, and Zach Workman. And then there's that other guy, but he don't show up, so we won't talk about him. And then, you know, you guys up there in the booth, and then iRacing and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just because I'm looking at the name on the back of this truck.
All right, raise hell, praise Dale. Nice job, man.
Come on.
All right, that is Tyler Miller, driver of the 24, your stage 2 winner. How about that, folks? All right, so Dawson, I see what you got here, and let me do some stuff. So why don't you talk for a minute while I try and get this sorted out?
Well, I'll do just that, and gosh, I hope it's right. You know, I double and triple checked. So
it's unofficial.
It's
unofficial.
It's unofficial, but it's what I've got based on the stage 2 ending. So we'll see if it's right here once we get to the end of the race. But regardless, we're going to restart here on lap number 58. 42 laps to go 43 laps to go in the round of 12. Workman and Alex Green bring us back to the green flag. Workman, big run on the bottom. Josh Ball in line with him. That bottom rolling big time. Fritsch. And I believe that's Kevin Freis trying to get that top line to roll here behind Alex Green. Zach Workman's up here as well. So 4 playoff guys inside of the top 7 or so trucks here, about 4th on back will be our playoff guys. Behind them, though, it's Anthony English. I believe it's the next playoff guy on track. Oh, excuse me, it's Kacey Gilchrist back in 11th position. So playoff guys not really in abundance at the front. Workman out of line, gets back in about 3rd. Alex Green now leads the race with help from the 12 of Zach Fritsch. How about the driver of the 12? He is a 12-point buffer, ironically enough, to our cut line as they run live in stage number 3 here, at least based on my math. Kevin Freis is in the mix with 42 to go. Remember, he needs to win this race to make the round of 8. He's put himself in a good spot, and if anybody is going to win at the Daytona International Speedway this season, it is Kevin Freis. He's a 2-time winner here just in this season of Monday nights alone. That's his 2 wins on the season. Both came under the lights of Daytona International Speedway. So interesting to note with the 25 needing to win that he's basically at his best racetrack statistically. That's kind of ironic how that worked out. Alex Green, oh my goodness, he was not quite clear. Decides to go down anyway. Josh Ball cuts him a break. And now the 3 and the 1 will be clear. The middle line fading as Fritsch goes to the top for the help of Andy Brigante. It's going to allow Kody Neagles up into the middle, but they still don't have much in terms of help. Now the 31 bails. The 12 is able to jump back in the middle, but the middle is very dysfunctional right now. They're trying to get back forward. Hoping for Fritsch to jump in behind is Alex Green. He's looking in his mirror saying, hey, I like this. I like what I see. They're going on all behind me here, but not for very long. Here comes Kody Neagles in the 6 with a 12-point buffer for him as well. His aggression level going to be ramped up. He knows he needs to score a good finish tonight to be in consideration for a playoff spot in the round of 8. Our regular season champion in danger here. He's not safe. 12 points is not safe. With 40 laps to go, a lot can still happen. With 31, well, I guess make it 28 trucks on the track. That's more than enough room for him to fall out of the playoffs if things don't go his way. So he's going to be up front. You know, Freis is going to be up front. Same with Fritsch and Workman. Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if you were back quite yet or
just
not.
a second. Guys who are watching this, it's going to get a bit grainy on the screen. That's because of how I have to copy this information, so bear with me for just a second. You know what? Now, guys, we'll be right back after this. We haven't had a break. We need a break. Okay, no one go anywhere. We'll be back with more fun stuff.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I had to insert the points, and it was just easier to give our sponsor plug right there at the moment. We want to give a shout out and thank you to Butt Kicker, and they are down below in the broadcast description. So if you would like to figure out more about what Butt Kicker does, check them out and tell them that OP Racing sent you. So these are our point standings now after the 2 stages, as unofficially as we can absolutely be. But we think we're pretty close, so there you go. Keep in mind, I did not move anyone in their positions because they were still above the cut line. So if your favorite driver hasn't moved, but he has a bigger distance on the cut line, just pay attention to the number after their name, not where they're at on the chart. So far, though, nobody has moved on this chart just yet, and that's what's big. Gabe Butler, though, Sean Makara, that could change very quickly.
Well, they haven't moved, but they've also moved a lot, if you will, because the gap coming into tonight was 12. Now it's down to 1, at least as I have them running. And I don't know if you have a way to check laps led on the fly. I don't. That's the only thing I was uncertain about was laps led. But I think I've got everybody accounted for that has led a lap in tonight's race. Obviously, I think I've got everybody in here that's led a lap and gotten that 1 point added for leading a lap in tonight's race. So that's the only thing I'm uncertain about. Other than that, it is completely accurate with stage points. I can tell you that much.
Ooh, Zach Fritsch got into the corner of the Alex Green machine, and they stay straightened out. Rob Connors bailed off for pit road. He said enough with that. He came down pit lane to avoid anything going on.
Oh, and look who takes the lead of the race because of it. It's the man that needs to win the race. Kevin Freis has found his way to the point with 36 laps to go. It's going to be hard to beat this 25 now that he's out front. If he can stay out front, it's going to be tonight, on a night like tonight where he knows he needs to win and that's his only option. It's a very dangerous driver that, their only choice is to win. That's a tough guy to beat.
All right, so there you have it. Kevin Freis still 39 points below the cut line. And why that is important is because you gain a point for every position in this race. Up to 43 points, I believe, is what it pays to win, give or take. There's only 31 trucks in this race. So if Sean Makara finishes this race where he is at right now, considering that Jimmy Reynolds is out, he's 30th, right? So let's say Sean Makara finishes 30th and Kevin Freis wins. That is going to be super, or I'm sorry, if Kevin Freis doesn't win and finishes second, that's not enough points.
That's why we said coming into this week that he was in a must-win. He cannot gain enough points, even with the 2 stages. It would have been very interesting had he perhaps won both the stages. That would have, if he had led a lap, put his gap up to about 29, which with 31 trucks in the field would have been, doable, yes, but not quite enough for Kevin Freis. So his only option here is to win, but his teammates have found their way to the front. How about Bootnock at 1, 2, 3 up in the outside line as well? So he's got some friends here at the front. Everything's shaping up very well for Kevin Freis here tonight.
Yeah, it's not done and over with just yet. The 6 of Kody Neagles, the 40 of Peter deBorja, they're going to come together into the corner. Another big stack up, and everyone's shuffling around trying to find some space to race. And we stay green. Gabe Butler with a big wiggle coming off of 4. Richard Kuhn with some contact to Brian Wang. And man, it looks like we finally got it sorted out.
Yeah, deBorja went to clear down in front of his teammate Kevin Freis. I guess just misjudged how much room he had open there between himself and the 6 of Kody Neagles. Luckily, those 2 drivers very alert. They weren't asleep at the wheel, so everybody able to keep it going. And we're still 2 by 2 up front. It was just kind of one of those deals where you probably think you have more space than you do, and also you're more focused on making sure you're squared up with your teammate behind you there, Kevin Freis, to make sure the push is not off center, because then that creates a whole other issue, whereas deBorja probably would have gotten turned. So just one of those deals. Luckily, everybody able to keep it going. We're still racing, 32 laps to go, and Freis is going to go right back to the race lead.
We have one truck that's going to go another lap down here. It is slow. It is down below the racing line. Good heads up move there by the 00 of Rob Connors.
Yeah, heads up. He knows the situation here. He knows what these guys are racing for up front and what's at stake, especially with some of these guys here right at the front of the field. You know, he smart heads up just to kind of say, okay, I'm not going to try to get in the middle of that. With how aggressive it's starting to get, you can tell by how aggressive the pushing is, how aggressive the blocking is up front, switching lanes back and forth, that this race is ramping up. We are getting down to it, and you can really tell there's stakes on the line for guys like Kevin Freis. He is racing the wheels off this truck right now.
Oh, oh my goodness, things got very tight right there as they headed off into turn number 1. Again, man, these guys, they keep slamming the elbows into their faces, but they not falling down.
We are testing the limits of how far you can go as far as pushing, as far as side drafting. We are getting all the way to the edge, not quite going over the edge, but we're like right there at it. We've been at it since we went back under green flag, and if one of these turns into a crash, the consequences of a wreck here at the front, looking at how many playoff guys are inside the top 10, and those consequences would be enormous, especially for guys like Gabe Butler, who really needs a good finish now, obviously being only 1 point below the cut line, and he sees Sean Makara in 12th. He knows that where he finished right now would be enough to get him into the round of 8. So, man, a wreck right there. He's probably the guy that's sweating a little bit with some of these moves that these guys are making.
All right, so right now, as things stand, Sebastian Marin is the first truck 1 lap down. Kevin Freis in the 25, who is in a must-win situation, is out in front. So things going well for him, things not going so well for Sebastian Marin. Zach Fritsch in the 12, challenging on the outside. Now we have to start getting ready for green flag pit stops. This field was last on pit road on lap 55. We're now working lap 72, so green flag pit stops on the horizon. And I think this could be the money stop.
I would say you're right. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, depends on what lap it's on. Actually, I don't think so. I don't, even if they make it another, they'd have to make it another 10 or 11 laps to even consider being able to run the rest of the race. I don't think they're going to be able to make it that far. We'll see.
10 laps?
But I don't think they can make it that far. They got to make it to about 83 or 84 to be able to make the end of the race. I don't think they're going to make it that far.
No, they're not going to make it 10 more laps. You're right. You're right. They got about maybe at most another 5. Yeah, I can't do that.
I'm still trying to do math.
Oh no, Kevin Freis gets turned into the outside wall. Several trucks into the air. Brian Wang is a ping pong ball. Oh, and the 25 is heavily torn up. He is still rolling, but he was at the front of the field. Things looking good for him, and now that truck has even more damage once again.
Oh man, I mean, that's the last thing you needed to happen if you're the 25. There's actually more playoff guys in it than just him. I'm actually seeing who was not involved in this one. You're right, Brian Wang. Holy cow. Brian Wang almost goes up and over. He keeps still getting hit. It's been 10 seconds since the wreck, and he's still getting hit. The worst part of that, though, I think, if you're Kevin Freis, is you're going to be upset, but the problem is the cause of that wreck is your own teammate. That was Brian Wang trying to drop in line and misjudged and hooked the 25 off into the outside wall. And there are multiple playoff drivers in this. Anthony English, Sean Makara. There was one other one, Adam Kilday, I believe, is also involved. So, major playoff implications once again.
Let's go on board with Brian Wang in the gyro cam. One hit, 2 hits. That guy just kept getting clobbered. take another look at it here. This time we're going to go on board with Richard Sanchez. Sanchez at the tail end of this field. Nothing but truck spoilers in front of him. And oh my goodness, everything's going wrong. And he squeezes through.
It seemed like that wreck wasn't going to end. For a second there, it seemed like they wrecked and they wrecked again. They kept wrecking and they wrecked almost all the way down the back straightaway there. That was a wild one. And like I said, playoff implications. Once again, I think the most major implications here are going to be to Adam Kilday. His truck took a beating in that crash, at least from what I saw. Obviously, other than Kevin Freis.
And Tyler Miller was one of the trucks that smacked into Brian Wang, and Miller, our stage 2 winner, looks like even though he made that hard impact, not a lot happened to that truck.
Yeah, perhaps a fast repair, perhaps some kind of luck there with the contact. Sometimes you do get a little bit lucky. An escape without much damage. These trucks are very durable as well, so maybe just a case of a combination of the fact that these trucks can take a hit and also maybe a little bit of luck on his side as well.
So one of our big winners out of this, though, that is the 23 of Sebastian Marin. He has gotten back on the lead lap. And Kevin Freis is on pit road. That hood is up, and it looks like this is going to be the end of his night and the end of his playoff hopes.
I mean, that's
so
a heartbreaker.
It looks like it's not officially yet, but it's going to be very hard to come back from multiple laps down with a hood up.
I mean, if that is the case, that's a heartbreaking end to what was a really great season. He went into the playoffs, I believe, 3rd in points. Was one of the most consistent drivers all year, had a few wins under his belt as well. And if that's how his season ends, man, that's a disappointing end to what probably should have been, honestly, a little bit deeper playoff run. Not to slight any of the other guys in the Monday night playoffs, but man, that just speaks to how good Kevin has been this season. And that's certainly not the way I think he expected it to end.
No, and missing last week didn't help. That is what put him into that must-win situation, is he ended up missing last week. So that was a tough break for him. And, you know, we do this for fun, ladies and gentlemen. Not only do the drivers do it for fun, but both Dawson and I are up here doing it for fun. That's why we talk about popcorn in the way that we do. So whatever kept Kevin away was obviously much more important than, you know, come out here and do a cartoon race for a championship. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Obviously, you know, we always say, I've always heard life comes first compared to this. But there is still going to be that factor of disappointment, I'm sure. You know, he knew what the stakes were coming into the night, but I'm sure there's still going to be quite a bit of disappointment. I know, as a driver, I'm sure I would be feeling the same thing. Even though you can't control it, it's still, can't help but be disappointed. But other than, I mean, there's not much really that he could do in that.
Nope. But here we go once again. Pace truck down and away. Gonna have 24 laps to go. One more pit stop in order to finish this one out. Gabe Butler, Zach Fritsch, both of them drag racing into turn number 1, side by side. Who's going to come out on top as we have 24 laps to go?
Well, we reset once again right now, you know. That's going to take a miracle for the 25 to get back in the race. So now all of a sudden, you start to look at a guy like a Gabe Butler to win this race, flip the playoffs on its head. Vicente Guerrero, by the way, the 14's recovered. He's inside the top 10 again. He's another guy that he needs to win. Not mathematically, but at this point, his best route to the next round of the playoffs is going to be a victory. And he's suddenly back in the picture here along with our front four. So watch out for the 14. He could throw some chaos into this one late.
Yeah, we're showing the points here. And as the laps tick down, Kevin Freis still with the hood up. And at this point, I think his night is done. He is now 5 laps down, and we could really only get 5 laps of caution in if every single caution came out after, you know, each green flag, and he's not back out there. So this is going to be a tough one for Kevin Freis to swallow, but his night is done. His championship run is done. And the other one who's in trouble, that is Adam Kilday. He is 2 laps down, and he is in 27th spot. Everyone else, a couple positions ahead of him, including Gabe Butler. Butler right now running in second, and that would be more than enough points for those two to swap positions above the cut line.
Well, as they run right now with Kilday in the 27th position here in the 85, I'm showing him, let's see. Yeah, he would be out as they run right now. Gabe Butler obviously running second. That's going to be plenty to get him into the playoffs. Anthony English right now runs 14th. That's good enough. Oh my goodness, right as I said, Gabe Butler almost falls apart at the front of the field. Somehow they keep it going. But English and Butler running well enough right now. They would eliminate, I believe, both Sean Makara and and Adam Kilday, at least as they run on the racetrack right now. Now, the interesting one is going to be Sebastian Marin, who still runs in the 19th position. We'll have to see where it all shakes out for him as well.
All right, only 8 drivers are going to advance. Only one championship contender can win this race, and that 04 Mark Mann. He's got no shame in winning a race. He is right there in front. If he wins this race, then it all comes down to points for all of our championship contenders, and that could throw in a whole nother wrench. But let's not worry too much about that just yet, because as things stand, this race is far from over.
Well, we're about 3 laps short from being inside the window to pit and make it to the end. Trouble. Around goes the 11 of Matt Wagner, right in front of Sebastian Marin, but he makes enough of an effort to brake to get past it, but that is going to bring the caution out right on the edge of the window. We're still not in the pit window yet, so got to think there's still maybe a pit stop to be made. I don't think you can save enough to make it from here.
No, you could. I mean, you come back down pit road, top off your fuel tank, and we don't have a green-white checkered, you might have enough. I mean, it's that close, though.
Well, the rate this race is going, it sure appears like we're going to use at least one of those attempts of the green-white checkered, so I don't even think topping off is going to feel very safe here once we get back going.
Whoa. Watching Jeff Crosby Sr. Holy cow. Was that a big moment for him? Take another look. I know he's not in the initial incident here, but he has to deal with the 71 of Sean Makara, the 071 of Eric Laurie, and the stopped race truck of Matt Wagner. Let's figure out what happened to Matt Wagner in the number 11 that sent him for a ride. And Richard Kuhn, Jeff Crosby Jr. making contact. The 11 of Matt Wagner just was a passenger. Eric Laurie comes sliding in. Wow. Goes to show you the race isn't ever over, even when the yellow flag comes out.
Not at all. And As the caution comes out, everybody is coming to pit road with 18 laps to go. It'll be 17 next time by. You are right on the very, cliff's edge of being able to make it here on this tank of fuel. You'll have to come back and top off, but assuming this one goes green to the end, which I don't think it's going to, but hey, they could surprise us. We should have some guys that are going to be able to make it, but again, I don't see that happening. Not in this kind of race. I don't think that's going to happen.
I do want to point out that Adam Kilday did get a wave around. He is still multiple laps down. Kevin Freis has rejoined the race in the 25, but he is almost 10 laps down. And at this point, you're hoping that many, in fact, all of the championship contenders drop out, and Kevin is the only one who is able to keep going. But he has to gamble on that. He has to go out there and do all those laps because that's the situation he is in. It's not a likely situation, but it's not a zero chance situation either.
No, obviously, you go out there and you run all the laps just on the off chance. Even when the cards are stacked against you, you just go out there and run the laps because maybe there's always that little bit of a hope for a miracle, but unlikely. But like you said, not impossible.
Unlikely, but not impossible, and that's why you never give up. Anytime I was in a race, as long as my engine was running and the steering wheel was attached, I would try and go out there and keep going.
That's exactly what these guys are going to try to do, and not a lot of guys coming to top off fuel. Oh, yeah, I don't know how that decision's going to pan out.
We are at the absolute limit of making it to the end of this race on this fuel tank. If we have a green, white, checkered, or even two, keep in mind, we will use two of them. If we have that pop up, oh boy. Roll the dice, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Who's going to win this race?
I have no idea. It could go any number of ways right now. And look up at the front at some of the guys who are in this. Gabe Butler, like we talked about, below the cut line would be in as they run right now, but is he focused on that? That's the big question. Peter deBorja, obviously, Zach Fritsch, they'd love wins. They're above the cut line right now, but still would love to just go ahead and win their way in the hard way. Same with Zach, or the easy way, I guess. Same with Zach Workman, same with Kody Neagles. Then you get to a guy like Vicente Guerrero. He's got teammates at the front now all of a sudden. And I mean, he's going to be, he is the new Kevin Freis in this race. Not to slight Kevin with that comment, but he is in the same position that Kevin Freis was in. He needs to win the race. There's going to be basically no way for him to make a run into the playoffs here on points with how everybody else is running. So watch out. I think the 14 is going to be the guy on the move. We'll see if he can get the job done, but I think certainly he's going to be the most aggressive out of our playoff guys up front.
All right, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero has some work to do, but he is not out of this race just yet. Lights are out on our Chevy Silverado. Zach Fritsch, Peter deBorja on the front row for this restart. Dawson, let you call this one, bud.
Well, it's Zach Fritsch and Peter deBorja on the front row. It'll be 16 laps to go. The round of 12 is getting down to it. At this point, only 40 miles remain here in this round of 12, and still so much to be decided. Off towards turn number 1 they go. It's the Bootnaka teammates with Workman up on the outside. Now Kacey Gilchrist, how about that move by the 31? He's in line now. He could use a nice point stay. He would be in as they run. But again, how many of these guys are focused on that up front? I got to think they're just focused on the end of this race and not necessarily on points. But here we go. 2 wide off turn number 2. Down the back they go. Fritsch versus deBorja. Drag race down the super stretch.
Down the back stretch we go. The 12 and the 40 trying to sail off into the corner with the clear advantage, but they don't have it just yet. Workman in the 04 pushing on the 12. Right now, not a whole lot of teammates working together except for the 40 and the 88. And now the 40 drops down to the inside. So even teammates aren't quite working together all the way to the end.
I'll tell you what, I think they are, and here's why. I think they're trying to control the lines and keep each other's temperatures fresh under the hood. I think that's probably the goal here. And there you go. Look at this. Butler drops down in front of deBorja now. I think it's just some team stuff going on between the boot-knocking teammates. I don't think it was necessarily they're working against one another, but rather that they're just trying to help each other out.
I was more excited about the fact that deBorja was on the inside lane and Gabe Butler was on the outside. Like,
certainly makes things a little bit interesting, doesn't it?
when your teammates are in control of both lines, you can really start dictating what happens. But once you get in single file, now you're at the mercy of everyone else. But goes to show what I know, because the 88's still out in front.
Out in front with not a lot of time to go, and he's got his teammates still flanking him to his left, and the FSR trucks behind them just kind of forced to ride in line and watch for now. Still a long ways to go, and really no one trying the third line quite yet, so this is a fine position to be in, I think, right here. If you're Fritsch and Workman, you've got some options, especially if you're the 19. Here late in the going, you know, a guy like Jim Mayer would probably go with you. We know those guys have been working together a little bit so far in the postseason. So as Butler goes down across deBorja, now you see that outside start to roll. Here comes Zach Workman in the 19. And some other guys behind him trying to follow him through down the backstretch once again. Things are tightening up here with 13 to go.
We have 13 laps to go. The 88 of Gabe Butler trying to make that truck very wide. A win locks him in, and he would be the only driver to pick up a win here in the Championship 12. Or I'm sorry, I should say our only championship contender to pick up the win in the Championship 12. Zach Workman in the 19. He wants that win as well, so don't count him out just yet. Holy cow, this thing is going to come down to the wire.
Well, it's coming down to the wire, but surprisingly, without the presence of some of the playoff guys around the cut line, this could be a little bit less dramatic, I think, than we may have expected it to be. Is not much sign of Sean Makara, Adam Kilday here at the front, and man, with only 12 laps to go, all of a sudden Gabe Butler and Anthony English are in a really good spot to advance on points. So we'll have to see how it turns out. Obviously, still a long race to go. Still a lot of stuff to happen here at the front. But right now, while the battle for the win heats up, the battle on points has kind of cooled off a little bit.
On board with Anthony English, our stage 1 winner finds himself mid-pack. He currently is in 14th place on the inside line. Tyler Miller, our stage 2 winner, right? 1, 2, quick math, not good math, KR. Stage 2 winner, the 24, Tyler Miller, just to his outside.
Jim Mayer going to take his turn out front of this field with a healthy push from Kacey Gilchrist, who's made his presence felt. Just can't say enough about the 31 in this postseason. It feels like he's hit another gear, and he is here 11 laps, make it 10 laps short if he stays right where he's at right now. He's 10 laps short of a trip to the round of 8, and boy, what a great feeling that would be for Kacey Gilchrist.
Adam Kilday going another lap down in the 85. At this point, Kilday just has to hold on and hope that there are several trucks in this championship battle that are eliminated, that are his rivals. Same going for Kevin Freis. But right now, Gabe Butler out in front, Zach Workman, Peter deBorja, followed by Zach Fritsch and Kacey Gilchrist as far as championship contenders in the battle at the front here. Kody Neagles in the 6th finds himself in 10th. Pit truck in the outside lane. So with all that being said, we have 9 laps to go. Zach Workman Now trying to be as wide as Gabe Butler was just a few laps ago. Here comes Jim Mayer in the 95. Jim Mayer would love nothing more than to win another race as he won last week.
Would love to go back to that place. Spoiler, 2 weeks in a row for these playoff guys up front. We know that's the only thing really you're racing for once you're out of the playoffs, is just kind of upset the playoff party here at the front. Obviously, get yourself some momentum here coming towards the end of the season. End the season off for yourself on a high note. I'm looking back a little bit further. I'm looking at the 14. I've tried to keep an eye on the 14 because it's going to be the guy to watch here. Basically, everybody in this front pack, as far as I know, is going to make it on points that's already in the playoff field. And that includes Gabe Butler and Anthony English. Now, it's going to become chaotic when and if Vicente Guerrero decides to move towards the front, which you got to think at some point. I mean, he has to start, right? Once you realize you're in a big enough hole, you have to come forward, and just no signs of it yet from the 14.
Yeah, Vicente Guerrero, I think what he is doing is he is just kind of sitting there, going to let things develop. And as a run happens, and here he is, he's moving to the outside lane with the 6 of Kody Neagles. Contact, he's in trouble. Hits the outside wall. Oh, and I don't think that steering wheel is straight anymore. Heavy damage on the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. But man, what I was getting ready to say was, I really feel like he's just sitting there waiting to see a line develop. And when it does, he's going to jump all over it. He did, and things just did not work out for him.
Yeah, big issues on the 14, and this is a bit of a panic button moment.
Oh, it is definitely crab walking down the straightaway.
Yeah, it is. He's going to need a caution. He's going to need one pretty quickly. He almost gets one here at the front. Mark Mann is going to go around. No, he's not. Oh, my goodness. Mark Mann, that's one of the best saves of the season, and I don't think it's close. The 0-4 was pointed at the inside wall. He was pointed at the outside wall. I don't know how in the world he kept it going, but now it's split the pack up in a big way here.
So now we stay green. Vicente Guerrero well off the pace, but he did not come down pit road, so he is going to try and ride this damage out and see what happens. Tough break for the 14. Adam Kilday, Kevin Freis, that looking more and more grim for them as well. And these were all guys who came into the race below or at the cut line, and things just not working out for them.
No, and granted, this race is far from over. Still a long ways to go. Obviously, not a death sentence yet, but with the field as spread out as it is, I just don't know how much we're going to still see up front. We'll see. Obviously, still a long ways to go. Still a lot can happen. Obviously, these guys can be jostling for a win because they don't necessarily know their playoff standing right now. But we'll just have to see here over the next 5 laps what goes on here at the front. As Kody Neagles gets hung out 3 wide. Mark Mann wanted no part of going 3 wide.
Riding on board with Sanchez in the 510. And I'll tell you what, he is in the right place to try and upset some of these boys. And Jim Mayer in the 95, tell you what, he is no slouch. He picked up the win last week. I believe he picked up a win earlier this year, sure did, all the way back on September 11th in race number 12. But because he did not meet the minimum race requirements, he was not championship eligible. And he has 2 wins on the season. We'll see if he can get 3.
Oh, it's going to be tougher job up here at the front as the third line has come together in a big way in a hurry. Kody Neagles was the one
$10 that says these guys do not make it to the end of this race without overtime.
Right there, trouble. Around goes some of the playoff guys, including Anthony English. Oh no, the 44's gone around here.
Anthony English has gone around. It looked like Kacey Gilchrist might have got caught up in it, but he was able to stay clear. And the 44 with a big spin. I was just trying to say there's no way we get to the end of this race. I want my $10. $10 in popcorn, not movie theater price popcorn, but like store-bought popcorn. I want my $10 worth in that. That's like a week's worth of popcorn.
Well, there you go. That's about the quickest payoff you could have asked for right there, I think.
I mean, it was happening as I said it. Oh, all right. That's our first attempt at a green-white checkered because we had 3 laps to go this time around, and we will not have a shot at firing this off in our regular 100 laps. All right, let's back this up. We got to talk about the crash because there was a lot that happened there, including impact for Anthony English. As they make their way off of turn number 4, Alex Green gets turned by Josh Ball, and the 44 gets picked up. Mark Mann goes for a spin. Tyler Miller involved. Go off the nose of Sebastian Marin. And trucks just, I mean, it took all the way from coming off of turn 4 throughout the tri-oval that they were scattering, scrambling, banging into each other, and just all sorts of stuff.
Another one that took a very long time to develop. I was a little bit surprised, but once it did, it was other more big implications. Now, granted, English actually only lost a few spots. He's still 9th. But the question is going to be the damage on the 44 machine and how severe it is here once we get back to green flag racing. I will tell you, that's the caution Vicente Guerrero was looking for. He is back on the lead lap now. It's a long shot with 2 laps to go, but I have seen crazier things happen before. He's going to be on the lead lap. He's going to have at least a fighting chance at it.
Yeah, a fighting chance is all he could hope for. Kevin Freis, Adam Kilday, Sean Makara, right now they're all behind him in running order. And if he can find a way to gain a few more spots, if he can pull off a top 5, Sean Makara, Adam Kilday, Kevin Freis having a bad night. Throw in a random driver crashing out here in this final, in this one of 2 attempts at a green-white checkered. Ooh, he might make it.
You know, live as they run, I'm looking back here, just trying to get an idea. The 2 drivers in and on the last couple playoff spots as of now, as they run on the racetrack, would be Gabe Butler and Anthony English. With Kilday and Makara, they are now below the line. They need to do something big here. Kilday being multiple laps down, which probably isn't going to happen for the driver of the 85. But Sean Makara is still on the racetrack. He can still make something happen, but needs to go and do it now. But as they run right now, Makara, I think, is the only one that can have any effect on how this goes for the 88 of Gabe Butler and the 44 of Anthony English, who, I don't know, they probably don't know this, but they're sitting pretty right about now.
All right, Kevin Neagles, very loudly so that I could finally hear somebody in the stands cheering. He says, if Vicente finishes top 3, tell him Papa Neagles was cheering him on. Absolutely, we sure will. And he's got as much of a shot as anyone into this top 3. And the reason why I say that is because the first thing you have to do is to be on the lead lap when this white flag comes out. We are going to use our first attempt at a green-white checkered. And as things stand, Vicente is on the lead lap. Granted, he is 23rd right now. but I once saw a guy come from 3 laps down as we were in the closing laps of the race, and he finished on the podium while using every green-white checkered attempt there was. That was insane, so I know it's possible. Vicente, you got a shot. Here we go. Green flag is out. Zach Workman and Gabe Butler out in front for this restart.
They have to make it 2.5 miles for this race to be official. And immediately, Karosik, that's a name I haven't really had to say a lot tonight. He's up on the outside. He's got his teammate Sebastian Marin with him. They've got Alex Green. They're going to have a run. The question is, how far does the run go? Who jumps in front of them? My first guess would be their teammate. It's not. It's Kacey Gilchrist. There goes Kody Neagles. That's the first guy I figured would jump out of line. We're going to be 3 wide down the backstretch. Halfway down the backstretch. Vicente Guerrero still way off. Same with Makara. They're just waiting for something to happen. I don't know if it's going to. They're still going to have 2.5 miles for it to happen. Workman up in front of Butler. Does Butler go higher? No. Decides to push Workman for now. Top line still trying to get rolling, trying to get formed up, trying to get something moving. White flag. 1 lap to go with Workman out front.
Zach Workman out in front. The white flag is shown. We stay green no matter what as the 071 goes for a ride off the racing line. Workman still out in front. Gabe Butler second. Zach Fritsch in third. That is going to change as they make their way down the backstretch.
Kody Neagles is the guy to watch right here in the 6th. Does he have the help up top? He coaxed the nose out front for now. The regular season champion who hasn't won all season suddenly finds himself in a great spot. He's got 2 corners left. Are they going to wreck up front?
Oh, it is getting very, very tight up front. Here they come off of turn number 4. Zach Workman down on the bottom. Gabe Butler sideways to the line, and it is going to be Workman who picks up the race win. Gabe Butler in second, and Kody Neagles in third, and then everyone committing Sudoku behind them.
What a finish to the round of 12. Holy cow. There is some math to be done here on who's going to make the playoffs, so I will do that while you go through some finishing results and such. If you want to go ahead and do that first,
sure,
I can try to get some
absolutely.
math done. But man, I mean, that's the finish I think we all were waiting for, and we got it in a big way. What an ending to this race.
All right, let's go ahead and go through our race results here tonight. Zach Workman picks up the race win, and he is the first championship contender to win a race in the championship 12. Gabe Butler second, Kody Neagles final step of the podium. Zach Fritsch in 4th, and then we have a non-championship contender, Jim Mayer, to round out the top 5. Kacey Gilchrist in 6th, Tyler Miller 7th. 8th place goes to Peter deBorja. Steve Karosik in 9th, and do want to point out, hey Steve, we're all feeling for you. We know what's going on with you, bud, and hopefully everything heals, and we know who you're trying to share your love with. Sebastian Marin in 10th. 11th goes to Richard Sanchez. Richard Kuhn in 12th. 13th place, Josh Ball. 14th going to be Alex Green. 15th place is the illustrious Brian Wang. Andy Brigante in 16th. 17th goes to Jeff Crosby Jr. Matt Wagner in 18th. 19th, Jeff Crosby Sr. Mark Mann in 20th. 21st is Anthony English. 22nd, Vicente Guerrero. Bubba Winningham is 23rd. Sean Makara 24th. 25th, Eric Laurie. Rob Connors in the 00, the first truck, 1 lap down, finishing in 26th. Then Adam Kilday, Kevin Freis, and David Overstreet, John Guerrero, and Jimmy Reynolds. All these guys multiple laps down. With all that being said, let me key up the driver who we know for sure 100% has advanced, unless there's some sort of cheating scandal going on that I don't know about. And let's be honest, I don't know a whole lot, but the cheating side of things, I don't think that's a thing. So here we go. Let's talk to the driver who is for sure guaranteed into the next round, Zach Workman in the 19. Congratulations on the race win.
Thanks, KR.
Well, bud, I'll tell you what, you are the first driver to win the race here in the Championship 12, and the only one who we know that has gotten through to the Championship 8. 2 races in the Championship 8. It might look easy from here, but now everything's really starting to ramp up.
Definitely is. For most part of the season, we were not even a playoff team, to be honest. We had a high of highs and very low lows. Finished like, I think 25th every other week, rather than if we didn't get in the top 10. So we struggled throughout this whole regular season. So to kind of have this playoff run to even make it through the first couple rounds, it's kind of been surprising, to be honest, because we've just not had the speed and not had the finishes we got. But I don't know, winning 2 races. I've never won multiple races on a Monday season, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, we're just trying to make it to that Final Four again, because last season we got it, and we were kind of the underdog there and made it happen. So we'll see what we could do, but that's in another round of 8. These guys are really good. They race all the time, and they're really good at super speedways. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit out of my element because I don't race as much as I did. So I just show up Monday and try to battle it out. So getting 2 wins is pretty special, especially after not winning for 5 or 6 months. Felt like I was out of the loop, so it's kind of cool to still get it done.
Well, let's be fair and honest. In those couple of months, you had some big things going on.
For sure. So it was a well received couple months. Had new blessings in my life, and just great to come out here Monday and race with these guys. I've done it the last 2 years, and something I look forward to Mondays still. Between all the bitching and different rulings that we do and things like that, I still look forward every Monday to showing up, just battling it out with these guys. So makes a good part of my week.
All right, man. Well, nice job out here tonight, picking up that race win, advancing into the Championship 8. Just 2 more rounds to go before you have a shot, or I should say 1 more round before you have the shot at a championship altogether. So who do you have to say thank you to? I love yous, big hugs, whatever you need to do.
Well, I gotta thank my boys of FSR. We had Tyler show up. They brought, the always great Tyler Miller story time. So that brightened up the spirits of the team. He also helped as a pusher in other situations. So appreciate Tyler for coming out here. Jeff as well. Jeff's not in the playoffs and Tyler's not, so they don't really have a reason to show up, just to help me and Fritsch. So we appreciate them. Josh has other things going on, but he would have been out here if he could have. So I got to thank the FSR boys, as always, for being a great team. Got to thank my parents for doing everything they do for me and making sure, watching this, their son go around 100 laps, turning left. So it get boring a couple times. My girlfriend for being the amazing girlfriend she is, and mom to my kid. Without her watching her, I would have to be watching that and give it up Monday. So she allowed me to do that. I know it's hard, but I'm thankful for her for that. And then you guys in the booth. Been stuck with us for the last 10 seasons, KR and Dawson. You're new into the game, but we appreciate you guys really a lot. Coming through the admins and OP, and got to thank also Butt Kicker. They don't get a lot of shout outs, but they really should, because they're a really good sponsor for our whole league and on Saturdays as well. So just want to thank all the guys out there.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Zach Workman, our race winner. Nice job, Zach, and we look forward to seeing you in the round of 8.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you have it. Now let's move on to our second place finisher. And before I pull him up here, Dawson, do you still need some more time? You got time for an interview, or?
How about you do? You'll do Gabe. You talk to Gabe Butler.
All right, I'll talk to Gabe.
And then I'll take third place. Make sure I'm making sure my math is right, triple checking before I, go on the airwaves with this stuff. So,
All right, here we go. We're gonna talk to the driver who brought it home in second place. And that is none other than the 88 of Gabe Butler. Gabe, nice job, man. You had quite the hole to dig out of. I don't have any official numbers, but if I had to do some quick math, I think you dug yourself out of a hole and you advance into the championship 8.
Kind of more fun digging yourself out of a hole, man. But
well, it's better than being put in a hole, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, it's fun and good race there at the end. Got a great push from Jim. Almost pulled off the win, but I think we did enough with the stage points and the P2 finish, and then the other guys finishing where they did. So we'll see. Be close.
Well, Gabe, this race for sure had its ups and downs for you. Quite a lot of ups, not going to lie, but at one point, things didn't look too well for you. How did you power through that?
Teammates, man. I ended up there at the back trying to get some damage repaired. Had quite a bit of damage, and finally got it repaired. Was able to get hooked up with Peter there, and we just moved to the front, man, and stayed up in that third lane and got him clear, and I was able to get up there, and I think the caution came out shortly thereafter, so we were in a good spot after that. But again, digging out of a hole, man, it's fun, but it's a bit stressful at the same time. But once you got teammates, you can do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you say it's stressful, but the feeling that we had up here in the booth was, yeah, he might be there now, but let's check on him in 10 laps. And it absolutely was that kind of situation, because each time we checked in on you, you were further and further forward, and you ended up in a solid second place finish. So, man, you handled the stress well. You pulled off an outstanding race here tonight, and I think you did everything you needed to do. So nice job.
Well, I appreciate it, gents, and just a big shout out to the Boot Knocker teammates, man. You're nothing on super speedways without your teammates, so they did an awesome job. Congratulations to Daddy Workman for the win there. Good job on his part, and again, thank you, Jim, for the push in the middle there. We tried. Hell of an effort, and of course OP for putting this on, and you guys up in the booth, KR, awesome job.
All right, Gabe, well, nice job, man. Congratulations on the second place finish, and man, I'll tell you what, you always are someone to look out for in those must-win situations.
Don't like it happening like that, but we'll do what we have to do, I suppose.
Absolutely. That is Gabe Butler, driver of the number 88, bringing it home in second place here tonight. Once again, Gabe, congratulations.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good evening.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to our third and final step of the podium. And Dawson, like it or not, this one is all you.
Yeah, I think I'm in a pretty good spot now, and I'm caught up with our third place finisher tonight. Cody, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, number one, I'm beginning to think you're cursed at this point when it comes to last lap runs. We saw you poke the nose out front there on the backstretch. Kind of take us through that last run, and what allowed you to get up there, first of all, but also how you're feeling about a third place finish.
I feel good about third, but a little bit disappointed in the few laps leading up to that. I went up to the third. It looked like our team was in a good position with Vince leading the third. And I think the initial idea was for Vince to push me clear of the middle, and then Seabass, I think it was Seabass, was behind Vince. Seabass was going to push Vince clear of me, and then I was just going to stay locked on Vince the rest of the way in, and it just didn't work out that way. And I think there was Seabass said he didn't know when I hit, because I got up and then I told Vince just to hit me, and I went up with plenty of room, but I don't think Seabass heard me when I said I was moving up. I think might have been just the miscommunication, and he got Vince a little bit squirrely, and it just kind of disconnected the lineup and hurt Vince. Vince takes a faster pair, and he's in a good spot with fuel if a caution can come out, because a lot of the leaders didn't pit, and they could only do the one green white checker. So we had a couple different looks at it, and just is disappointing, man. I mean, me and Seabass get through, Vince does not get through, and I don't know, get P3, but just still a little bit disappointed because I think as a team we could have executed the end of that race better.
Oh, absolutely, and it was disappointing, but unfortunately just kind of one of those deals on these kinds of tracks. So transitioning now forward, the third place finish is good enough to advance you into the round of 8. You're still in, and I think the best part of it is that you're in without a victory this season. So kind of take us through your mindset here going forward. You got 2 more races to potentially advance to a championship 4, maybe even without a win. Just kind of take us through what you're thinking headed into the round of 8.
2 seasons ago, I was able to make it to the final 4 without a win, and I just fell a lap short of winning the title. And I'm thinking this season has a lot of similarities with my season 2 seasons ago, so it can definitely be done with consistency, man. But you run up front, you'd like to be able to close, and just things haven't quite fell my way. But it doesn't mean that the runs haven't been good. I mean, I'm enjoying where I'm at. If I'm able to come home with a win one of the next couple weeks, it would obviously be my biggest win in OP so far. So I've just got to look at the future, and it's bright, So, we got 2 of the final 8 drivers, I believe, 25% shot on paper at winning the title. So, we just need to try to do everything we can as a team to get me and Seabass in the final 4, maybe rewrite history from 2 seasons ago, whether it be Seabass win or me, and maybe just put a stamp on this season of Monday night.
Oh, absolutely, and you'll start that run next Monday night. But here for tonight, you got a 3rd place finish. So while we have you for a second, anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys at Turn 3 for calling this season and everything you do. Also with Wednesday's KR, I want to thank the OP admins for everything they do behind the scenes. I want to thank Butt Kicker for sponsoring all 3 series with OP. They've been on board now for quite a few seasons, so shout out to Mark Mann for making all of that possible, and everyone at Butt Kicker that supports this league. Fantastic group of drivers and some of the best SS racing around, and I love to be a part of it. I want to thank my teammates at Dale Cup. I want to thank my sponsor, Martin Sports. And I want to thank my parents for always tuning in and supporting me. And like I said, at the end of the day, I really want to rewrite history from 2 seasons ago and maybe not sit 2nd place or worse this time around. Maybe, hopefully, it's me hoisting it in 3 weeks.
All right, well, a 3rd place effort, good enough to get you in the round of 8. Good enough to keep you in the fight for that championship. And we'll see if you can get into the final 4 and potentially contend for that Monday Night Championship here in a few weeks. Congrats on that 3rd place finish. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.